We know the work of spiritual innovation can be lonely, and we really want to help you find your people. That's what this page is all about. So we have a directory where you can find other spiritual innovators and organizations that are dedicated to spiritual innovation.
I think, the encouragement is to always have a friend that will love you no matter what and give you the affirmation that you need, because that certainly matters and is so valuable. But to also really surround yourself with people who think of things in a completely different perspective, and to really see the wisdom in the domains that they reside in, and to see what the back and forth can really do. And I think that's been, the interplay that I think is uh, both practical, but also, really profound at times when we're really trying to bring in, what is talked about a lot in, say, the realm of like business and entrepreneurship and innovation and social impact, as well as the realms of religion, faith, spirituality, and the ancient. Yeah, have a friend that will love you no matter what and tell you what you need to hear, because that's important and you just need to be loved on. But also surround yourself with people who actually will, with trust, disagree with you, offer different perspectives. Um, and I think what we also really talk about very much is how there's this participatory design that's happening when you are creating something. You're not just creating something because it's to serve your ego or to serve your purposes. You're building something for other people to be aided by and supported by and held by. So, the key relationship is to be in constant dialogue with the person that you're serving and the people that you're serving, and not to like mine or extract that information, but to really meaningfully ask them to co-create this with you and ask them really what would make this better. Why isn't this actually the most ideal, solution, fit, or match for you? And um, yeah, to kind of constantly bring them along into that process. Because Glean Network is multi faith, interspiritual in nature, and really intentionally brings people from so many different backgrounds and traditions. I think people are often not only drawn to that, and they don't really even know what they're going to get on the other side, right? Um, you know, at minimum, they will meet people that they've never met before and hear some perspectives that they haven't heard before. But oftentimes, I think what folks are most surprised about is that no matter what folks are working on, and it could be like vastly different contexts and vastly different scale, but that some of the challenges that arise and some of the aha moments are actually really quite parallel. And um, we've had a lot of people really extend, their relationship beyond the cohort, beyond some of the study, because it's just meaningful for them to have thought partners in the work. And again, somebody who can really share, especially the stage that they're developing in. I think that's actually also really important, is to really find not only people who are like working directly in the ecosystem that you might be working in, but folks that are just in the very similar stage of building something, because that's where you can really start to share some of the challenges and breakthroughs. And that's just such like fueling encouragement.
One of my main advices is to find the resources that help us cultivate faith and trust what we know is trustable. And we have our inner resources, of course, prayer, rituals, whatever is best for us, depending on our practice and beliefs. And also external support from teachers and friends that we deeply trust, who are able to see us as we really are, and who have also walked this path to some extent in their specific context, right? Uh, with their own limitations as well, so that we always have a refuge. And maybe this is the most important thing, to find a refuge, whether it be a teacher, whether it be a church, whether it be a circle of trusted friends, voices that support us, that guide us.
I'm so glad that this is, being talked about, because I think you can find so many different projects and initiatives out there all over the world, but how important it is to root into your locality and to, I think, kind of bring yourself into dialogue with others who are rooted in the same place and actually looking at the same things that you're looking at. Or maybe looking in the same area that you're looking at, but with a completely different angle and perspective. Um, I'll share that. So there was someone, even in my local area, it was a project that just kind of like it sparked my interest because it was a free food pantry initiative, for people to just actually a, acquire a pantry. And this was all really inspired by the mutual aid networks that really sprung up in 2020, especially in response to the pandemic. And, people would put out free refrigerators, people would put out free libraries, all sorts of ways in which like mutual aid could be accessed in easy ways. But lo and behold, a lot of the people that were behind these projects were people who are thinking about a lot of the same things that I'm thinking about, right? So I share that story to say that it's worth it to be very curious about what you're noticing in your local area, and to really like meet the people that are behind some of these projects and initiatives that really light you up. So it may not always be as direct as like I've joined this network and now I'm connected to a bunch of folks. Sometimes it's really about you being exploratory in your own area and and actually really turning over stones that you really wouldn't have. I think that like the task of a spiritual innovator in many ways is to really be attentive to how the sacred is all around us and how it's being accessed in very different ways. And it's I think often the case that you're going to meet people who are just not really using the same language that you are, right? Because they're just coming from different traditions, lineages, and so forth. Um, but being really curious about that, I think, just opens up new avenues. And, uh, you know, I think as we are all relational beings, one person will lead to the next and so forth. Um, and I think the other piece to it is to just keep talking about your work, like even to people who you think wouldn't even really care, because again, you just never know who someone is connected to, and how much the work that you're doing might actually touch someone's life, depending on what they've been experiencing.